Hello, this is Wicked Shrapnel, and I'm going to show you the router configuration I have used to combat against DOS attacks and host booters on Xbox Live. So this configuration is going to be with ASUS routers, and there's 4 different routers that you can use. I have the N66U, which is ranked as the #1 bestseller in computer routers, and it's working out really well for me. And it'll also work with the newest one they have is the AC66U. It will also work with the N56U, and it will work with the N16. So what I'm going to go through here is only going to work with those 4 routers. So maybe if you're looking for an upgrade of a router, you can get one of these 4. If you're interested in trying to combat against DOS attacks, and this is the only ones that'll work. If you have any other kind of router, I really can't help you as far as getting it set up. It took me a few days of research to get this working for myself using my router. So I'm just going to share what I learned with you and how you could set it up if you have one of these 4 routers. So first thing we need is custom firmware created by this guy named Merlin. And he basically took the stock ASUS firmware and just added some extra features to it from other open source developments, like Tomato is one of the router firmwares that he integrated into the stock firmware that ASUS makes. So you just go and download whichever firmware for whichever model router you have. So I have the N66U. You just download the zip file, you extract it, and I think it's like a TRX file that gets extracted. And then you'll go to Administration, Firmware Upgrade, click on Choose File, and select that file, upload it. It'll take about, 3 to 5 minutes and reboot, and then you will have the upgraded firmware. And then we are going to configure a VPN client. So VPN server comes with the stock router. What the Merlin firmware adds is an open VPN client that'll allow the router to connect to a VPN client just like you would connect from your PC. And this will encrypt all the traffic that goes through the router over the VPN. And that didn't really work out the best for me, because when you connect over a VPN, it slows down your internet connection a lot. So this is my default speeds without a VPN. I get about 51 down, a little over 5 up. And when I connect over VPN, it's usually 10 megabytes or under, and the upload speed will be about 4 something. And I didn't want my whole network to be limited over VPN for limited speeds. I just want my Xbox to go over VPN so that I can use the VPN firewalls and everything that my VPN service has to combat against someone that's trying to knock me offline. And it'll stop most attacks that are coming from a single player, just a regular host booter or DOS attack. If there's a large scale DDoS attack from, hundreds of different IP addresses from different clients, it could possibly get you knocked offline. But this is going to be more protection, and if they do have this huge attack that knocks your VPN IP address offline, it's not going to knock your whole network offline. So when I'm live streaming and someone gets my IP address that I'm using on Xbox Live and attacks it, it's not going to knock my live stream off. It'll just knock me off of Xbox Live. And instead of going in and changing before to change my IP address for my whole network, I could show you how to do that real quick. Under WAN, if you just change the letter of the MAC address here, so it's like 1A, you can move it up to 1B, and then you click apply, reboot your router. You probably have to unplug your cable modem, plug it back in, and then when it comes back up, you're going to get a new public IP address. And don't worry, I'm going to get a new public IP address when I'm done with this video, so that's not going to be my ISP public IP. And I will give you all my VPN client settings. I will paste some links in the description. I'll paste all my settings up on Pastebin and then give you some links to Pastebin. So Once you have your VPN client set up and you configure all these settings here, and you also have to paste in a certificate under client 1 that you get from your certificate authority. So I'm using private internet access just because they have VPN servers in Austin close to me. And you just download these open VPN configuration files and open them up on your computer. Let me show you what comes in that file that you download. So when you extract it, it's going to be a list of files like this. And you want to open this ca.crt, and you can just right click and go to open with, choose a program, and then choose notepad, and it's just going to be, it's going to look like that. Select it all, copy it, and then paste that here under client 1 certificate authority, and then configure all these settings here, which I will leave in the description. And that's going to encrypt all the traffic, but what we want to do is limit the VPN to only use the IP address that is assigned to the Xbox. So on our Xbox, let me switch over to that. You want to go to System Settings and then go to Network Settings. And I'm using a wired network. If you're using wired, go to wired. If you're using wireless, go to wireless. Click on Configure Network. And here, get the IP address that's being assigned to your router. And we want to remember that IP address, write it down. And I did try to set this manual and it didn't work. I was getting errors when I went to test my Xbox Live connection, like ICMP errors. So there's something about it being configured automatic. It might have to do with like UP&P settings or something, but it was only working when it was set to automatic. So once we get what the IP address is that's being assigned to our router or to our Xbox, we go back into our router and under firewall, no, it's not, it's under WAN. Port forwarding, you want to forward all the Xbox Live ports to that IP address. So I'm forwarding 3074538880, which I think those 4 are the main ones, but I'm also forwarding a 443 and forward it to the IP address that's assigned to your Xbox. And then now comes the little trickier part. So we need to enable under administration system. We have to enable this JFFS partition. And when we enable it for the first time, you want to click yes on format it on next boot. And also enable SSH and allow SSH password login. And then click apply and reboot your router. And when it comes back up, we need to connect to the router with a special program called PuTTY, which I will link in the description. And PuTTY looks like this. So we'll want to enter in, once the router comes back up, 192.168.1.1, which I believe is the default IP address of the router. Click on open and we'll get a command line like this. So you log in, I think the default login is admin, then enter your password and then you'll be into the root of the router. And then we need to change directory to jffs/scripts. And in here, we are going to want to create a script, which how we do that, you type, and I'm not going to enter these because I've already entered them, but I'll show you what you write out. VI space firewall dash start, and then you'll hit enter, which that creates it'll open up to a command prompt. And you could just type in just one letter in there. And we're creating the script in here because the other methods that I've tried to create it didn't work quite right. So when it opens up, and here I can actually, when it opens up, you just hit a letter, hit like, I don't know, I, and hit enter. And then type in :WQ and hit enter, and that is going to save that script file that we created. And then reboot your modem, or actually, I'm sorry, don't reboot yet. After you do that WQ, we need to make that script file executable. And here's the command that we use to do that: cmod space a+rx space /jffs/scripts/firewall-start, and that makes that script that we just created an executable that will be allowed to run on start. So then we can exit out of PuTTY, and we're going to want to open another program. Second, it's called WinSCP. So let me show you what that looks like. So that's going to look like this, and you'll go to new and enter in the IP address 192.168.1.1 with your username, password. Then you click on login, and logging in. Then this comes up, and I think it'll normally open up to the root folder. So you browse to JFFS scripts, and you'll see that firewall-start script that we created. And the permissions should look like that. And then right click on it, edit, and we will get, and you will just see like whatever letter you typed when you created the script, just like an I there. And then you'll need to paste the script that I'm going to link in the description. So it'll look like this, and the only thing that you'll need to change is the IP address here of your Xbox. So that's the IP address that's assigned to my Xbox, and you'll just change it to whatever IP address that you have assigned to your Xbox. And then click on the save button right here, and that will save that script. And that is pretty much it on the configuring the script side. So then we can go back to our browser, and once you save that, you can click on reboot, and when it comes back up, you should have connected to your, it should automatically connect to your VPN. And even though I have this saying start with WAN no, in that script it automatically starts the script for us. So let me do a little demonstration. I'm going to put my actual username in here, and I'll connect to the VPN, and then I'll show you the differences between the IP addresses that I get just to test it out. Okay, I configured my username and I connected to the VPN, and when I go to what is my IP address and refresh, you can see on my computer I'm still connecting to Time Warner Cable. But if I change my IP address, let me I turn my Xbox off, so I'm not going to have an IP conflict. Let me show you here. So I'm just going to change my IP address to the IP address that gets assigned to my Xbox, which is 1.40. Now when I refresh, bam. So now I have an IP address that is assigned to the VPN. Makes it a lot better for live streaming and DDoS protection. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll provide all the tools that I used and all the configuration scripts and everything, all links in the description. So hope this helps you out. And also, some people had said that it was a violation of terms of service for Xbox Live to connect over a VPN, and that is not completely true. What is a violation of terms of service is if you are using a VPN from a country that does not have Xbox Live service. Like, I don't know which countries don't have it, but But if your country does not have Xbox Live service and you connect over a VPN to a country that does, that is a violation of terms of service. So or if you're trying to just cross different regions, if you're in the UK and using a VPN to VPN into the United States so that you can get on the United States servers, that's a violation of the terms of service. You have to connect to a VPN within your own country, and then you should be fine. So that is all I have for this video. Hopefully this helped you out. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give a thumbs up, and I will talk to you later. Take it easy.